Hi, Livia. Morning, guys. Aiden, can you hear me? Yes, you can. Your eyes say it all. And Aiden, since I'm picking on you anyway, can you see my screen? And would you say hello into your microphone?
Hello.
Thank you. It's Aiden Day today. Got a little brain teaser here you guys could get started on. See what you think. Can you come up with the answer? Ivan, are you answering our riddle?
Yeah,
What do you think?
I mean 13
Well,
times.
you know what? If it wasn't a trick question, that would be the answer, but it's a little bit of a trick question. So there's not very much math involved in this one, actually. Anybody else want to take a stab at it? It's not 13, not what you think it should be, because there's a little bit of a trick to it. Katie, you think you've got it? What do you think?
Yeah, is it one? Is it one time?
Tell me why do you think it's 1?
Because if you subtracted it more than once, then you wouldn't be subtracting 3 from 39. You'd be subtracting it from like 36.
You got it. That's exactly it. You can only subtract 3 from 39 once, because if you keep going, you would then be subtracting from 36 and then from 33 and then from 30. So nice job. Way to be on your toes. So guys, I want to start by apologizing for Monday's class. I have no idea how that got away on me like that, and I owe you all a treat. When we get back, I definitely owe you guys. I'm sorry. That was such a boring lesson to listen to it for that long. I know it was boring just talking about it. I'm sure on your end it was even worse. And to go overtime, like a double dinger. So today, we are going to start by looking at the questions that gave us trouble in yesterday's online assignment. So guys, this is from your lesson 2 assignment yesterday that you did online. So this is all I did was sort of take out the questions that gave us some trouble. So we're not going to go through every single one. So this is one of the ones that we didn't do super well on that I want to help you with. Now I have here our notes on the sampling methods. And the ones that I want to point out to you, the ones here where I did the underlining, the cluster sampling and the stratified random sampling are very, very close. In both of these, we make groups. So we divide our population into groups. The difference between these ones is cluster sampling, you're going to survey one whole group. And in stratified random sampling, you're going to survey some people from each group. So we've got the cluster sampling and stratified random sampling, both breaking them up into groups is how they're connected. But cluster sampling is where you survey everybody in one of the groups. And that's what's happening in this question here. So the population is divided into age groups. And those people in the 18 to 24 age group are surveyed. So they are surveying everybody in one of the age groups. So that means that this one would be cluster sampling. Any questions there? Now, it sure is nice to have those notes to look back at. It's kind of why I've been pushing for us to get this done before we go back in person so that you can do your exam tomorrow as an open book as well. Much easier when you're able to look up things in your notes. So here is another one that gave us trouble. And again, it was that same type where we're picking out the type of sampling. So a market researcher stands beside the information booth of a mall and asks people who walk by to participate. What is the dominant type of sampling used in this example? Well, when you think about it, they really haven't done any real planning. There's been no groups. It's not systematic. Systematic, just so that you know, systematic is always talking about every nth person. So they're going to interview every 10th person or every 100th person that comes through the doors. But if it doesn't mention every nth person, then it is not systematic either. So when you look at your choices, really, they haven't put a lot of effort into it. They haven't put a lot of planning, nothing too strategic going on. This is convenience sampling. They're basically just doing what is the easiest method for them. And probably one of the lowest ways to get good data is just to do what's easy. Any questions why that one is convenience? Okay, now this is one of we had a few questions that were like a paragraph answer question. To find out what new books the students would like to see in the school library, the librarian surveys all English teachers in the school. This is not the best way to collect valid data. Make a suggestion to improve their method of collecting data. So you know what, it isn't asking you for like what is wrong with their sample or their method. It's asking you to suggest what would be better. So we're not looking for the options of, was it timing? Was it privacy? Was it cultural sensitivity? That is not what's being asked here. This is just asking you to suggest how to improve it. And you guys did a really good job here. Of course, if you're interested to know what the students want, well, the best data would come from actually surveying the students, right? You have to think about who the population is. The best data is always by going to the population. In fact, the very best data is doing a census with the population. We can't do a census all the time because it might take too much time and cost too much money. But really, if you're asked for what's the best way to get valid information, your answer would be a census with the population. So here they're asking teachers, and they're not even interested in what the teachers think. So you guys did a good job there by suggesting they go and ask the students. Okay, and this one again, same kind of thing. You're being asked to make a suggestion. So to find out the favorite vacation destinations of Canadians, listeners of a radio station in Ontario were asked to complete an online survey on the radio station's website. This one, I think some of us missed the mark a little bit on this one. Some people were saying one radio station isn't enough, which is true. But when you think about who is the population, so the population is Canadians, right? That's who they're interested in. What holiday destination do Canadians like to go to? So really, regardless of if we use a mail out, a radio survey, online, it doesn't even really matter what type of survey we're doing. If we're only doing it in Ontario, we are not addressing the population. So what we were looking for here is they need to survey people in all provinces because they're interested in Canadians, not just Ontarians. I don't know what they're called there. So not just people in Ontario, but in all provinces is what we were looking for there. So remember, the sample that you use has to represent your population. Okay, this one I want to point out to you to watch out for this kind of question. You know, it looks pretty much innocently like a multiple choice question where you're used to just picking one correct answer, but it says choose all of the correct answers, meaning there's more than one. So we're looking at spinning the spinner once, the probability that it will stop on red. So the probability that it will stop on red is 1 out of 5. Oh, so there it is. That one's right. But now look at these other ones. They're written in percentages and decimal form. So now take your 1 over 5 and convert it. So 1 divided by 5 is equal to 0.2. So we've got our fraction form. We've got decimal form. So D is a right answer. And then if I multiply that by 100, I get percentage form, which would be 20%. So we should have chosen A, B, and D to get this one right. Any questions on that one? Okay, and guys, those are the ones that gave us trouble. And remember, our unit exam is tomorrow. We'll be expecting to see more of those same kinds of questions. So today is review. Okay, and I'm hoping today I can even make up a little bit of my blundering self on Monday and maybe even get you guys out of here a little earlier today. We're going to do a couple warm-up questions, and then you guys will get into your practice work. So let's look at our lesson 3 review warm-up. So everybody go ahead and answer number 1, A and B. All right, so we're going to look for volunteers here. And I want you to remember that sometimes there's more than one right answer, and it really comes down to, can you back up your answer? So the first one, is this a good way of ensuring quality control? So checking the first 5 boxes every day. Do you think that's a good way to ensure quality control? Who wants to chime in on that one? Jamin, what did you say there? Jamin, are you there? Earth to Jamin? Maybe not. Olivia S., what did you say there?
It depends how many. I said it was depends how many boxes they were making each day. Because if they were making 10 boxes, then it would be good. But if they were making like 50 boxes, the more boxes they make, the less good it would be.
You know what? That's a pretty good answer. Because really, yeah, if they're only making 10 boxes, they have checked half of them. And so it would be pretty decent. So let's put a number on it that they didn't tell us ahead. Let's say they make let's say they make 800 boxes a day. So if they were making 800 boxes a day, Caitlin, do you think this is a good method?
Sort of, but they could maybe like choose the boxes at random so that it'd be not just the first 5 or just more boxes in general.
Yeah. So if they were making like 800 or more, I agree with Caitlin. I'm going to say no on this one. Really, if you think about what the quality control manager is doing, this is really just convenient sampling, isn't it? And really, as the machines get going throughout the day and they get heated up, and the employees who are operating the machines might be getting tired, maybe they're not as focused. It could be that the very best product is made first thing in the morning. And later on in the day, people are getting sloppy and tired and not focused. And maybe the machines, I don't know much about the machines. Maybe they need to be oiled and maintained or whatever they might need. So I think too that Caitlin kind of answered the next question. She said definitely to sample more and kind of randomly. So let's take those 2 ideas, not just specifically the first ones in the morning. We want random samples done all throughout the day. And we want more boxes to be sampled. So what does that sound like? What kind of sampling should we recommend here, you guys? Ivan, do you have an idea here of what kind of sampling would be better?
I think that systematic sampling would be better because it takes a sample for like throughout the day.
Yeah, I think so too. So remember, systematic, the key there is they take every nth box. So like Ivan said, they're going to be taking samples throughout the whole day. So for just as an example, they could do, let's say, every, I don't know, 50th box. Okay, now that might not be the only method that would improve on convenience. So if you have another method and you can kind of back it up, we would probably accept more answers. So does anybody want to suggest a different kind of sampling here? So I do think if we were going to pick the best one, I think Ivan has already kind of got the best one out there. So guys, we're going to get into work time. We are assigning page 24 to 26. Now there is also on your booklet, there's page 27 and 28. Those are not being assigned, only 24 to 26. And you guys, we're going to work for, we're going to work for about 30-ish minutes, and then we're going to take up the answers. And that will be it for review. So make sure you're working at a decent pace so that you can get involved in the answering when we regroup. And please ask, turn your mic on and ask any question you want as you're going through your review. Hey guys, I forgot to tell you that when you get to page 25, the top two questions here are kind of repeated. Something weird happened in our photocopying here. So on page 25, you don't have to do those top two. Okay, grade nines, if I could get your attention. Normally, I would like to go through the assignment with you. So I would normally be asking you guys for your input and what did you say for this one? What did you say for that one? That kind of stuff. But actually what I have done instead, because I'm trying to make up for my big blunder on Monday and give you guys a little extra time, I've posted my answer key. So this is on Google Classroom, so you can check as you go. That means that you guys are free to sign out for the day if you want to. If you want to stick around, ask questions, get help, check your work over together, we can do that too. So if you're comfortable just checking your own work on your own time, feel free to log out. Otherwise, you can stick around and ask a few questions. Stay strong, be kind, stay safe out there, people.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
So on the assignment that we did, you went over all the questions that gave me trouble. So I'm kind of confused what I got
Yeah.
wrong.
Well, you know those ones you asked about in the email, Ivan?
Yeah.
You know what? They weren't really asking you for what was the problem. You know,
How to make it better?
yeah, it asked, I'll bring it up here again. It was asking for suggestions.
Well, I'm pretty sure I suggested to, like you said while you were explaining them, to survey
Yeah.
each province and
And
the other one, ask the students.
ask the students, yeah. And you know what? The truth is, these ones that were like paragraph form answers, you got it marked right just for doing it.
All right.
At least that's the way I think I set it up. Let me just see, what was your mark on this one?
I got I think a 78.
Okay, so it says you got 11 out of 14. Hang on just a sec. I'm going to just stop the recording because we're going to go over we'll go through it and see which ones gave you trouble, okay? Which ones got marked wrong?
All right.
But we don't need that on the recording, do we?